Hey guys! So this was not the video I was planning on making for my next video. My next video was going to be another makeup video. I just have been having a couple skin problems that I've been wanting to clear up. This and there's a zit right there. It's kind of painful actually. Anyway, never share much. But anyway, I decided to do this just because I hate stigma, sick of stigma, and think educating people and just talking about things can sometimes be a very, very useful, helpful thing. Okay, so, first off, if you actually know me and have, who have talked to me at all and follow me on Facebook or Instagram or anything, I have some professionally diagnosed mental illnesses. Borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, major depressive disorder, panic disorder. There was no clarification besides that on it, so I guess that's just what it's called. But basically take an anxiety disorder and they make it full-blown panic attacks most of the time, I guess, for why that's it. I have paperwork for all that. Also have it mentioned somewhere in there something about some kind of attention disorder, but being unsure if it's actually its own thing or connected to the others. Now, since I got the psychological evaluation that we have since noticed, and people have come forward who probably should have maybe mentioned this a few years ago, about noticing alternate personalities and times where I would just not remember things. Now, I didn't necessarily say about my missing gaps in time with the psychological evaluation, because whatever. I didn't necessarily think that it would be connected to any actual mental illness. I thought it might be a physical thing or something. But I do have that. And it turns out that I potentially have dissociative identity disorder. Now, we're not very 100% certain of that. I do have, times where I do have missing gaps, even in my adult life now, and for a lot of my childhood. And there have been a lot of signs that if I actually step back and look at it, there have been signs of that. And other people have noticed, including my aunt, who apparently noticed when I was 14. And probably should have said something, because that would have, helped. But, for those who don't know, dissociative identity disorder was, used to be called multiple personality disorder, but now there's actually a couple dissociative disorders that have alternate personalities. It's just not under the multiple personality umbrella anymore. But we're not 100% sure. We do know that some of the personalities that have come forth do have different names and very unique personalities. We have Terrence, who is male. He used to be called Jesse, so If you knew me a while back and I was going by the name Jesse, or you saw me playing a masculine video game with the name Jesse, that was him. He just changed his name because Jesse didn't fit anymore. And my voice is going out a little bit. It's been doing this for a few days. I have some weird issue where I lose it at least once every couple years, so maybe a little water will help. But anyway, he's the logical, sci-fi, nerdy one. And he focuses heavily on logic. We have Vera, who is very much the dark, gothic, vampire-y type one, who seems a bit older, maybe in her 30s. Jamie, who's anger and sadness, and communication with them is still spotty. When you find out about alters, you can communicate with them sometimes. It's just difficult. It just works better if you know about them first. And with help of some family members and stuff, that's how I've been able to learn about them as much as I have and all that. We also have Alice, who is a child. I didn't really get a proper childhood at the age that she's at. I don't really of course I don't really remember anything from that age. I was really little, but I do have some flashbacks associated with that age from some traumatic stuff that happened for years, from what I can tell from the flashbacks. I'm guessing or between the ages of 2 to 8. And so Alice is about 5, and she's basically there to get a childhood. Ivera, the gothic one I was mentioning, she's a protector type. And protectors basically try to protect you from yourself, try to protect from persecutor types, protect from outside things. There's also alters who are designed to take care of the body if you have issues doing that yourself. I have Sugar Wisp, who tries to get me to eat and actually take care of my body. I have Abigail, who's basically a mom for Alice and just a mother-typey figure. And I do plan on getting a diagnosis for this and talking about it with a professional when I can afford it. And right now it is still undiagnosed, but I'm trying to learn about them as best as I can, because learning about them can help with healing and help make the episodes where I forget things and don't know what happened because I wasn't the one fronting, less and easier to deal with, and helps with the healing process and all that. So I'm trying to learn about them just because of that. And now for some other stuff a little bit that branches off of that. Coping mechanism that is sometimes encouraged by therapists, especially if you make it clear that it's not going to be a 24/7 thing, it's just when you're overly stressed or something, is age regression. And for a lot of people, it's uncontrollable. Now, Onision has been attacking the age play community, but he's also branched into the age regression community, which most of the age regression community is just a bunch of people who want to know people who understand what they're going through, because for some of us, age regression is uncontrollable. We can't control when we regress. And basically, regression is your mind basically reverts back to a childlike state. So, not always completely, and you don't usually have missing gaps, but you don't feel your age. You don't think like your actual physical age. You think like a younger age. It's very different from age play and is completely unrelated to kink. However, Onision has been linking the two and saying it's the same thing and making fun of those of us who do it due to trauma and to cope and deal with mental illnesses, which I will remind you, age regression is something that some psychologists and therapists, recommend and help people with, and a lot of the times they don't recommend like hypnotherapy for it. It's something to be done when you're comfortable and stuff. And it's not a bad thing. And it's not kink. It's not age play. Age play is knowingly acting like a child, not mentally reverting back to the state of a child. It's just acting like a child, often for kink purposes and sexual purposes. And a lot of CSA, childhood sexual abuse, assault survivors do find age play kink very disturbing and offensive and a mockery of the trauma they went through, because they will act like a child in sexual situations, basically role-playing a sexual assault of a minor, which kind of creepy. I mean, there are some that don't do it sexually, but a lot do. But you can't say that the two are the same thing. The age play kink community is CGL, DDLG, DDLB, MDLG, MDLB. They're a subset of BDSM. Caregiver Dom, little one. Daddy Dom, little boy girl. Mommy Dom, little boy girl. It literally has Dom in the name. It's the Dom subset of BDSM. And I mean, I'm not against BDSM or anything. I'm just saying, you cannot say that a kink, an age play kink, is the same as a type of therapy. Because there's no power exchange involved, there's no domination, there's no submission involved with age regression. And the people who will attack these age regressors because of Onision's video are clearly uneducated and just horrible people. And the age regression community, it also has spaces for child alters to just be themselves and know other child alters so they can have friends, because they're kids. And, kids need friends. We're just sharing pictures of toys and stuff, and cute, adorable food and stuffed animals. A lot of us collect stuffed animals. We'll have chewy things, or if they're the type of person who sucks on things, they'll have something other than their finger or hair to suck on. Me, I'm a chewer. It helps with my anxiety, and so I got this little bat from Stemtastic, which I will link down below because they are awesome. But here. Have definitions pulled up for me to actually read them to you and not just give my general understanding of it. A DDLG / other acronyms. Relationship is a relationship in one person, the dominant, takes on the role of a caregiver, usually referred to as mommy or daddy, and the other person in the relationship, the submissive, engages in childlike behavior with their partner, sometimes for sexual gratification. Age regression. Age regression is when somebody reverts to a childlike state of mind, often as a coping mechanism for things like PTSD, depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. Basically, age regressors are more at peace and worry-free whilst in little, tiny, small, regressed space. There's a lot of terms for this throughout the age reg community, and a lot of people have different terms they're more comfortable with, and there are we have the huge community, like a tree, and then we have little branches off in different directions that use different terms or have a different aesthetic. Like, you got the super pink and girly ones, you have ones that are more focused on space, some that are dinosaurs, some that are just general, some that are Care Bears themed, some that are geared towards regressors who regress for different age ranges. There's even communities specifically for system littles or child alters, which is pretty cool. These people simply need breaks from the stress of being an adult and often have childish personality traits, even outside of regression, though sometimes it's not as obvious. Contrary to popular belief, age regression is not a kink and not even related to sexual intercourse whatsoever. Some regressors refer to themselves as littles, and they're a caregiver because sometimes they do need some kind of care, like if they regress to younger ages and can't do a lot of things for themselves because they do regress more fully. So they sometimes have a caregiver. Some will just call them caregiver. Some will use mommy or daddy, but those are not kink terms. Anyone claiming that they are just kink terms should probably not be anywhere near children. So yeah, those are some definitions. And yeah, I'm an age regressor. A lot of my family knows this. I'm currently not in any of the sub-communities of the age rate community because it's just easier that way for me personally. But there's no harm in being part of any age rate community. And sometimes you need to talk about this stuff. You need to talk about it, get it out there. And educate people, because otherwise, if you're not open about it and you don't accept it within yourself and work to take care of yourself, it's easier for people to hurt you. Over it. And nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves harassment. Nobody deserves death threats. And I've seen some really cool people be getting these over Onision's videos. People in the Adroit community. And it's sickening. So, be kind to your fellow humans. Maybe educate yourself on different illnesses. I'll probably include a couple links in the description box. But be kind. Be a decent human. And maybe life will get better for you. Because human decency isn't a weakness. It's a strength. It brings us together. So, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Not necessarily my normal type, but I'm not ashamed. And you shouldn't be either. You go learn. You get diagnosed if you think you have an illness. You do what you need to do to take care of yourself. You research coping mechanisms. And find what makes you happy. And just live. Bye! I will have another makeup video up soon, and then I do have a little bit of surprise with how it's going to be done, because I figured out some stuff, so stay tuned. Talk to y'all later.